Okay, so we've gone over culling. We've gone over the second step of fixing our photograph in ACR. So now I'm just going to go over what is it's the bulk of my editing in a sense because it's in Photoshop and as I have a lot more manipulation than I can do with the photograph. However, it's also probably the least amount of steps that I do take. Like I mentioned before, I do have actions. I have created actions on my own workflow steps. I highly recommend that you learn how to do this. Perhaps I'll post a tutorial for you guys on how to create actions. I found myself that I'm always adding a warming filter. I'm always sharpening. I always burn my edges slightly. So I've created these actions to run this all for me so I can do it all at once and just tweak the layers as needed. But I'm going to break it down for you guys. Like I mentioned before, my pictures automatically come out cool. This is a very cool picture. Not to mention that I'm in shade. Very cool. I've got green, which is a cool color. And they're also wearing cool colors. There's not much warmth to it. Their skin color is the color pretty much what I want it to be, but I want a little bit more oomph to it, a little bit more feel and warmth and happiness. So I'm going to go over here, and you guys remember how to do the warming filter. That's the very first thing I'm going to do. All right, so I've got it on. Let's turn it off and look at it. Pretty green. Let's turn it back on. It looks pretty good. Now I'm going to play with the different warming filters that I want to use. I've got I've got 3 different ones I can choose from. I typically stay with the 85 because I could mask back a little bit if I need to. And that's the great thing about using the photo filter. It already gives you a mask. You don't have to worry about clicking another button to apply it. So let's go ahead and let's watch our background first. And let's pull up the density of our warming filter. It's getting pretty warm, a little too warm. I'm going to watch the color of my grass. See, if I pull it up way too much, look at my grass. Bad color. Let's pull it back down. I'm watching the background because I'll be able to mask their skin color. Now, if I wanted to aim just for skin color, not worry about anything else, I can just move the density so that I can watch it. Let me see. There, no, not that happy with it. I want a little bit more warmth and more sunny and happiness behind them. So I'm going to pull it up, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mask them back. Let me get my masking brush. Since it's revealing everything I want to hide, but I don't want to fully hide my warming filter. So let's pull down the opacity and let's see, because I don't want them to be too orange. Probably want to up my opacity a little bit more because they're still, oh, okay. So now I watched that and I can see that their skin color was a little dull now. So let's do step backwards, and he's still a little too orange. Let me pull down my opacity. It really is just playing with it. And when I've done one picture in a set, like all the pictures of them laying on the grass in this one area, I kind of know for the future pictures that I'm going to go through and edit here, I pretty much know what I want to draw from as far as my opacity for my brushes, the levels of my layers. Okay, I've got that. I'm not 100% thrilled with this. I feel like it needs to be lightened a little bit more because I didn't lighten it enough over in CS5. I'm sorry, in ACR. So let me My thing is taking way too long. So let's go to adjustments, and we've got brightness and contrast. And again, you can put these all into a action. So let me just brighten it up some. But I don't want it to be too bright because I don't want to lose what I have. It's still a bit bright. Let's up the contrast a little bit. And that's going to kind of pull up our black some for us. Without really, it's making a little fluorescent on the grass. All right. Let's see. Pretty bright. See, let's go back down to what we were. That's too. There's about 0. That's where we were. Let's pull up the brightness. All right. Little too bright for me, but let me try something. I know that I'm going to add a S-curve adjustment layer, so let's go ahead and see if we can do the curves. And let's see with that brightness exactly how, because when you pull down your shadows, it's going to help darken it a little bit. Oh, way too off. All right, so I'm really not that thrilled. Okay, just pull down my shadows a little bit. So there it was too bright. There it's a little better. Let's turn off the brightness. See, look how dark that is with our curves. Actually, let's turn off the brightness, and it really is just playing and getting to know it. And that's not. So I'm just going to turn back on my brightness because I like that. All right, so I flatten. Typically, you should be able to leave all your layers open. I like to flatten as I go when I pretty much know that I'm happy with what I have. I will sometimes leave them all open, but sometimes the masks don't really work with each other that well because it'll mask the one that's right underneath, not the base one that you have. So let's go over here. I want to go ahead and burn my edges. What do I want to do? I want my hardness at 0. So I'm going to burn my edges. The trick to this, and this is a big trick that I tell a lot of people, I don't mind sharing, is that the whole point of the photograph is my subjects, right? Actually, let me back this up so I can show you guys the difference. Let me duplicate or put a new layer on here. All right, the reason that I like to use, and actually you can use vignette actions. When you tell a photographer that you're going to do a vignette, a lot of times they're like, oh, don't vignette. Well, but the thing about that is I can put a dark vignette and then lower the opacity to 2% and have burned edges. And it's going to do it in more of a uniform manner. And I have an action for that, but this is how I'm showing you. You guys already know how to burn. But the trick to this is it kind of tricks the eye into automatically looking at your subjects. I want to darken actually some of this back here. All right. So let's turn off that, see how bright it was, and darken it. Because I like how light my subjects are. They've got some light, but I want to add some darkness to draw my eyes into them. And I'm probably putting a little too much, but I can lower my opacity since I'm on another layer. All right, I want you to notice on the left-hand side, you can see a distinct line. I don't particularly care for that, so I'm going to lower my opacity. And let's see, let's turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on. It's a little bit much, so let me actually, I don't like this on the left hand side, it's bothering me on the grass, so I'm going to take my dodge tool and lighten that up. Let me do it on the right hand side a little bit too. Alright. Let's lower the opacity a little bit more. Let's look at it, turn off. I do a lot of turning off and turning on in my layers to look. Alright, I've got that. And I flatten it. Now, is there anything else I need to do? Well, if I have a person that is looking at me, typically I want to sharpen the eyes. So I will, and I'll be completely honest with this, I use an action that Coffee Shop Block has created. It's Eye Bright action. I run it and it's a masking, and it does a sharpen layer underneath, and it turns it off so it's black, and you paint it as a white so that it shines through, and it sharpens the eyes up really nicely. Don't do it too much because you're going to have alien eyes, but you want it just a little bit, and again, you can adjust your opacity with that. So looking at this picture, there's not much else I needed to do. If I absolutely wanted to get rid of this red over here, I could go over and do my cloning. Let's do a little cloning. If I want to get rid of that pole, I need to do some getting rid of that. Since I've got some nice bokeh in the background, doesn't have to be that clean and pretty. No one's going to really even notice. I really don't like this big. Oop. Just kind of play around here. But we want it to look as real as possible. That's the thing. You don't want it to look fake. And you don't want to create, like I just did, too big of a white spot where the sun's coming through. There we go. All right, and so now I just keep looking. Do I like the background? The background's pretty blurred. I've got great depth of field. Their skin color looks all right. There's always different things you can do. There's highlight protection actions available. There's, I know that there's red face actions available that you can use to cut the red on skin. But again, you could always use hues and saturations and your levels adjustments and everything that you need to do in order to fix that. Your adjustments panel is going to have all the basic actions, all the basic functions that you need. It's a great one to use, a great one to start out with. It's a little confusing, but as long as you get to know it, you'll know exactly what you need to do, and then you can create it into an action. So I like this. I'm not really that thrilled with the colors. I'm not really thrilled with the composition that I did, so let me try a little something. Let's go over the black and white. Ooh, I like the black and white. However, I kind of want to darken it up a little bit. I want some more oomph. I don't like the gray. I do like the black and white better because it kind of takes my eyes away from the background. If you look at the background here, I've got this warmth building. Well, you're wondering, why did you even bother with the warming filter and all that if you're going to black and white it? I always give my clients an option, color and black and white. Unless it's an absolutely bad color picture that I cannot do anything with, then I only offer the black and white. And sometimes I won't do that because they're going to ask for the color version. Black and white's a lot more artistic feel that some who want mainstream photography are not going to go for. While they may come to you because you think that they don't want mainstream photography, they still may deep down be drawn to that. So I try to offer both, but really not that concerned with doing it all the time. That can be really time intensive. You could also do that through batch processing. But for this instance, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I would do a black and white. I've created, like the other things, I've created a couple actions that I could do. But I'm going to go ahead and turn on, I'm going to use my adjustments palette with the black and white. It's a little grayed. I really love how it took away from the building behind them. I really like how it draws in a little bit more to them. I've already got my slight vignette on there. I've already got my levels corrected on there. But the only thing that I don't like is that I want just a little bit more oomph to my blacks. So let's go a little bit darker. It's still not dark enough in the little drop down. Let's do maximum black. That's a little too much for me. I just go along, and here we can do a custom one. So let's go back to default. Let's look at our default. Let's look at our neutral density. Way too bright, way too bright. So let's go back to default, and let's just, we know that there was a lot of greens, and so our greens are the majority of our blacks here. So we're just going to take, and we're going to push the green toward the black slider a bit. And there you go. You can see it brought up in the green areas of your picture. So you can go back and look at your greens. In the green areas of your picture, it brought up a lot more black. Now, what other colors do we have here that we want to make a little bit darker? Well, his shirt's a blue. So let's go over to the blues and push that up a little bit more. Really good. All right, so now I've got my black and white image. I'm going to flatten it. When I do my black and whites, even if I've already done burning of my edges in the previous steps, I like to do a little bit more. I just, for some reason, with the artistic feel, and I'm not saying make a slap on a huge vignette. I just had a dodge tool. I don't mean to slap on a huge vignette. I can't stand that. In fact, you find a lot of photographers don't care for it. But I really like the feel of a darker black and white. And there we go. We've drawn into them. We've burned our edges, which I should have put on a separate layer, but I didn't. And we could probably toss a little bit, since I'm on exposure 49, into this background if I want. Take it out. Looks good. Ready. Save. Since this is summer picture, I typically put summer 1, summer 1 _ black and white. It's however you want to do it for saving of your pictures. Oh, another step that I forgot to mention, the final thing is that I do the unsharp mask. I always go to filter, sharpen, unsharp mask. Actually, you can see from my drop down at the very top, unsharp mask is the first thing that we come to. It's because I use it the most. Unsharp mask, and let's go to their face. Let's see, before and after, before and after. Let's bring the amount up. Press OK. Looks good to me. Sharpen enough without making the wrinkles really hard. And save, and I'm good to go.